If you've noticed your legs feel a little less steady than they used to, maybe getting up from a chair takes an extra push, or a short walk leaves them more tired than it should, you're not imagining it. Many people report noticing exactly this kind of change as they move through their 60s and beyond, and there is something that can genuinely help. Quick note before we go further. I'm not a doctor, this isn't medical advice, and if anything about your legs feels sudden or severe, please talk to a real one. With that said, let's get into it. I want to be honest with you about that word quickly, because I don't want to oversell this. Nothing here turns your legs into a 20-year-old's overnight, and if anyone promises you that from a single food, they're not being straight with you. What I actually mean is more modest. Many people notice a difference sooner than they expect, not because of one miracle fix, but because small, consistent changes tend to compound faster than we assume. That's the real promise here, and it's one I can keep. A quick word on where I'm coming from. I've watched people close to me go from walking a couple of miles a day in their 70s to struggling with a single flight of stairs just a few years later, and what struck me was how much of that shift tracked back to two ordinary things. They'd quietly stopped moving as much after a health scare or an injury, and their appetite had shrunk along the way, so they were eating less overall, including less of the basics. That's the lens I bring here, not a medical degree, just years of paying attention to what actually seemed to matter. Here's how today's video is laid out, because I think the full picture matters more than any single tip. Leg strength as we age comes down to two things working together: how you use your legs and how you feed them. We'll walk through both. And I want to say clearly right at the start that the fruit I'll mention later is one part of the feeding side, not the whole answer, and not a stand-in for the using side. If you take away one food and skip everything else, you're missing most of what actually helps. Let's start with using your legs, because this is the part most people underestimate. A big reason leg strength declines isn't just age itself, it's that modern life has quietly removed most of the natural movement our legs used to get. We used to walk to places, carry things upstairs repeatedly, get up and down off the floor throughout day. Now a lot of that has been engineered out of daily life, and muscles tend to respond to that absence the way you'd expect. They weaken from disuse. The encouraging part is that this can often be improved with consistent effort, and it doesn't require a gym membership. A few specific things worth trying: standing up from a chair without pushing off with your hands. A few times a day keeps those muscles engaged in a way that matters. Short, frequent walks, even slow, 10-minute ones, tend to do more for leg strength over time than one long walk on the weekend. Something as simple as marching in place for 60 seconds while brushing your teeth, or taking the stairs one flight instead of the elevator when you can, adds up in ways that feel small in the moment but aren't. The goal isn't intensity. It's consistency. Your legs respond to being reminded, gently and often, that they're still needed. Now let's turn to feeding your legs, because movement alone isn't the whole story. Muscles also need the right raw materials to function well. This is where nutrition comes in, and it's easy to get lost in complicated advice here, so let's keep it simple. Muscles depend on certain minerals to contract and relax properly, and potassium is one that comes up often in this conversation. Some research suggests that when potassium runs low, people may experience more muscle fatigue or cramping, though cramping and fatigue can have several different causes, so this isn't something to self-diagnose from a video. What's useful to know is that potassium is fairly easy to support through food, and that's where our fruit comes in. Bananas are one of the most accessible, well-known sources of potassium, and that's why they come up so often in this context. I'm not going to tell you a banana is the best food for your legs, or the only one, or some kind of hidden fix, because it isn't, and claims like that are exactly what erode trust in health content. What I can tell you is that a banana is a convenient, nutrient-dense option many people can easily work into a daily routine. It sits alongside other potassium-rich choices like sweet potatoes, cooked spinach, oranges, and beans. Some people rotate through a few of these across the week rather than leaning on one alone. And that variety tends to serve you better than fixating on a single food. Putting it all together, leg strength isn't about finding one hidden trick. It's two ordinary things working in tandem. Regularly using your legs in small, sustainable ways, and giving your body the nutrients it needs to support that muscle function, with potassium being one piece of that picture. Neither one replaces the other. Focus only on food and never move, and you won't get far. Move but neglect nutrition, and you're working against yourself too. It's the combination that tends to make the real difference. One more thing I'll say, because I believe it and repeat it on this channel often. Nobody profits from telling you that a piece of fruit and a daily walk matter more than an expensive supplement or program. This isn't a sales pitch. There's no product at the end of this video. I'm telling you this because it's genuinely one of the more reliable, low-cost things within your control. And that's rare enough in health content to be worth saying plainly. Before you go, I'd love to hear from you. Did someone in your family, a parent, a grandparent, stay remarkably active well into their 80s or 90s? What do you think they did differently? Drop it in the comments below. I read them. And honestly, some of the best insights on this channel have come from stories people share there. If today's video was useful, the next one picks up right where this leaves off. We'll be talking about balance and fall prevention, which becomes just as important as strength once you're moving more. It's a natural next step, so keep an eye out for it. And one last reminder before I let you go, everything here is general information, not a substitute for medical care. If something about your legs feels sudden, severe, or unusual, please talk to a doctor rather than waiting to see if a habit change helps. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.